What's up everyone, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. Today video we'll be talking about Romancing Festival Azami banner that starts the second year anniversary celebrations and brings Azami, Vampire Lady and Barbara as global exclusives. This banner may offer a lot of things for some people but may also be skipped by some veterans if they have access to some amplified skills that we'll be discussing in this video. There is damage, there is support and there is buff break. That is the most important thing from this banner. We'll start talking about Azami. There are 6 different styles of Azami in the game so far. Only 2 are platinum. This A style here in the bottom and the SS style here on the top. She was the strongest character on global release, could debuff well, and then she got this summer style, then she got this Halloween style, and there is also a Christmas S style. Well, this version of her called Ninjutsu to the Fullest is a very peculiar one. Instead of going for blunt damage, she goes for slash and pierce because she carries a sword, but still equips martial arts as weapon. Her STR is higher than the Halloween version. Her endurance is higher, dexterity is lower, but you don't use it. Agility is 105, it's the highest so far in global, pretty high. Her intelligence is lower than all her older versions, even the S one. This kind of hurts her a little because she could inherit submission plus a powerful attack that can debuffs, and she does have a better cycle for this. But sometimes it may still work. Her will is 88%, and this makes sense since she was designed for boss fights. And it just makes her useful to not receive that status augments on start. Love is on average and charisma is pretty high, so she receives good healing. Ninjutsu to the Fullest is a character that is pretty unique. We have arrows for agility and will, and bonuses for both. You will need to rely on other versions of her to get other status like STR or even higher agility. For passives, the first one is Breath of Invigoration 1. When landing an attack, she gets 2 things. A heal of around 150 and 1 more BP. That means that essentially she gets 4 BP every time that she attacks. The second passive is called Weak Tension, and that increases damage by 15%, and when leading a weak attack, she also gets 10% more. Hyper Overtension increases everything by 20%, and then 35 on combo and 50% on overdrive. Well, this is pretty nice. We haven't seen these passives a lot. It's a good combination, but something must be said. We now have Fired Up 6 that is already stronger than Weak Tension by a whole. So it seemed like they designed some of the styles in the past and just decided to release now. And I'll be discussing this during this review so you can understand. So the total is 45% with 1 more BP and a heal. It's not bad, but could be better. When you compare to her Halloween style, she also has 45%, but not increased to combo or overdrive, but relies on having a full HP all the time. She also has a passive that increases STR and agility with 25% chance instead of getting BP and heal. I much prefer the Global X one. For attacks, we have Tekko Kage, and this is a slash attack with 3 BP coast, deep power, and slash? Yes, it's not blunt because she uses this word, remember? And because this attack recovers 3 BP, this is amazing for auto setups. You spend 3 BP, you get 3 BP back. That means it's a free attack, and if she attacks, she gets it back, and if she does not attack, it does not interfere. The second attack is called Ninjutsu 1000 Blades, and this one is very powerful. It's for only 8 BP, you get an A power attack with double elements, slash and pierce this time, and it's fast, so for farming this one is amazing. But there's something here, a drawback. She loses 2 LP. Remember Silver Summer style? She had to lose LP 2 to have double element A power on turn 1. But the game has changed, and there are characters like Matriarch, UDX style that can simply use Shining Glory, that also coats 2 LP, but buffs and heals. There is much more value here. There is also another character, that is Saruin. Saruin has the same power, A modifier, and with Destructive Blow, 2 elements, only 7 BP coast without a drawback. I know this guy here is a new DX exclusive, that is also one of the main villains of the game, and for lore it means that he will always be strong. But just for comparation's sake, we are not just so far from power creep here. Some people may think that this is a straight power creep, but I don't think so much. Still, it really helps when farming. She can use this three times. She can use this 2 times on 3 turn cycle. She opened with that. On turn 2, she can either use Tekokage or not, and then on turn 3, she uses that again. So, it's good for raids against more than one enemy. It's good for farming story mode, but story mode will finish in this update and we'll have to wait 3 months to get more stuff, but it works. In events, now we are getting 2 waves only most of the time. So she will open with that and then we'll have to use another AoE attack or a single target one. But still, the most important thing on this is the uniqueness. She will work well on Rainbow Rangers and as an agility slot attacker. Can even be used on an STR as well, but the agility position is where you usually lack different options. Also, we just got another character that do pierce damage in a different slot, that is Matcha. She deals that in an intelligence position, so they work super well together. There's only one problem. Martial arts units need 2 status to increase their damage. STR and agility. And on Rainbow Rangers you only get 1. That means that they don't get the same bonus as characters like Saruin or Matriarch on the STR position. There's something to be remembered, and I don't think that she will exactly beat them, but will come pretty close. So, the last attack is called Go For Broke. This is a 9 BP attack that deals AoE pierce damage with E power only, so this is similar to a normal attack that hits everyone. This is the start of something. After she deals that, she takes recoil damage of 30% of her HP. So, after that, she chases with an attack called Transient Flash. That is a 4S attack. Slash opens with Pierce AoE and deals single target slash. Well, this attack, Transient Slash, is just a carbon copy of Rofus. Rofus has Gun and Blade, and he just finishes with Uncito. That is also 4S slash and recovers 1 BP. So, Rofus was very important in the game. He buffs his dexterity, has overtension, that's pretty similar, fired up 5. They won't be too much of far, but Rofus still beats Azami because of wearing guns, having bonuses, and also a much better opener. He opens with Blunt double S instead of just opening with AoE Pierce. I don't know why they chose to open with AoE Pierce. It's probably because of the animation of the attack, but it's actually in a detriment. But now let's talk about something good. She has this passive called Breath of Migration, and this passive will trigger twice because of the 2 hits. That means that Go For Broke only costs 6 BP. Yes, because the first hit triggers Breath of Migration, the second hit also triggers. She will also heal twice, meaning that the 30% HP cut will not mean much. She just recovers most of it. And she can open on turn 1 with this attack, Go For Broke, then she can do it again on turn 3. But she'll get paralyzed by the end of turn 1 and the whole turn 2. Something needs to be remembered. When you are paralyzed, you don't get some enhancements. She will just receive more damage, like she will not get the full passive from Scrum Guard from Impress, and that may just kill her easily. But why do I like this? Because she has very high agility. Let's say that you are using Nawal's daughter and Matriarch in a boss fight. You will be buffing her agility, and I think that she may just evade and not die. But if she gets hit with paralyzed, she will just die like Rook, like Rofus. That's why we don't use them so much in boss fights. But maybe Azami finally can use it in very hard challenges. And she's also better than them. She will always use Go For Broke every 2 turns. When Rufus can only use it every 3 turns, Rook can use it 2 turns, but only the first 2 times, then it's once every 3 turns. But Rook does much more damage than Azami. But they cannot be easily compared since he's blunt, Azami is full slash, and the inter pierce damage is not even that important. But it's a very good attack. You can also just use it on standard farming events. You can open with Go for Broke, and then on the second wave you can do something else, either an AoE or single target attack, since she would just be cleansed for Paralyze. So there's plenty of options, and you can even look on her inheritance options. Like if you don't have any other style of her, in the future you will be able to amplify Corkscrew for B damage. Or if you have her Halloween style, you can also just use Little Witches or Hail of Candy. Little Witches is also a very good attack for her because she gets 1 BP back. This one buffs agility. Her agility is already pretty high. If you don't want to go for broke, you can just keep using Little Witches and she would just evade faster than anyone else. You can even place her on a specific position where she evades, and that can help. But I wonder how many times we want to use her on very hard challenges, or if you just want to use her for farming. That is a good question, but because she does work in all types of scenarios, I consider Azami a very powerful character, and she will be receiving a very high SS grade, and I don't think that she beats Rook or Rofus. They are a little more unique, but we'll be testing her out and maybe we'll be placing her closer to them, and she's probably the most interesting character from the banner. One last thing that needs to be considered is that she has a future style in JP that's a wrestling one. That's actually pretty interesting because it has much higher intelligence, and she has a chance to inflict poison and darkness. But this attack here is also very nice because this one can be used every 3 turns and gives morale up, so she just stacks more damage and keeps doing more. But she does have this immortal passive that already works by itself, so just know that if you are using her, you may just get another in the future to keep being relevant. Now it's time to talk about Barbara, and Barbara has 7 different styles now. 6 of them are platinum, and that is amazing because you have plenty of different inheritance options. The new premium one is called Pump It Up, and I shall compare it to the last platinum one. We have just a little increase on STR, we have worse endurance, even lower dexterity. She has the same dexterity as the first platinum. This is terrible, and I will explain later. Her agility is only 87%. That means that it's actually very good for a support character. Intelligence is 100%. She's not exactly a main damage dealer, and will is only 80, but helps not getting too many status elements right on start. Love and charisma are pretty terrible. When you look on all of her status, they are just average. She tried to focus on too much. To be a physical damage dealer, she needs STR and dexterity. To be a mage, she needs agility and intelligence. To be a support unit, she needs agility and will and endurance to survive. She cannot have it all, and that actually hurts her compositions. She has intelligence and will bonuses and arrows for both, so you will need other styles of her to get something like STR, but they are platinum, you easily find them. Now, for passives, the first one is called Close Quarters. You heard this before. This is the same passive as Arthur's, and it has 37% chance to trigger 2 things. That is a 15% decrease in the damage that you receive and a 10% boost to the damage that you do to the whole squad. But 37% chance is not so reliable, and she already had something similar with her past style that was only offensive, but it was 20%. Now it's only 10, so I don't know why they choose this route. Once again, I don't think these characters were designed recently. The second passive, yeah, this one comes from the future. When all allies are alive, everyone gets 10% increase in damage. Remember Imperial buff from Leon and now from Gerard? They get 10% buff to this party, but only for 1 turn. It's the evolution of it. This will last for the whole fight. It's an amazing thing, but we wish to have a better passive one. The last one is High Battle Tension, gives 20% increase in damage and 1 BP on start of battle. For skills, the first one we have is Power Grab, a 5 BP attack that deals damage. C power 20, this is not so high, she's already not a damage dealer, and has a guarantee to debuff STR if the attack lands. The combination of agility and intelligence is not so bad, so I think she will hit most enemies. The good thing is that it heals, and she can use this at least 3 times in a row. And if you need an indirect STR debuffer, she may work well, just won't do much damage while doing that. This power grab attack is something that we saw before with a character called Doll. Doll has it, and it's was her selling point, also alongside her chance to just evade. It was also be used as an off tanker. Now the damage won't increase too much when you compare it to Barbara, because Barbara only gets 30% increase in damage, but at least it's just one option. She's full of support. This is only the start. And the second skill is called Tree Flower. This attack here has been stolen from Rock stage version by doing this. This is a C power attack with 15 modifier that hits all enemies with shadow damage and buffs will. It's not bad, but usually when we need will buffs is against only one target, and we never use this against bosses to sustain. There are better options now. There's also Nadar, a character that deals more damage, has a good cycle and starts with 40% with his buff, with a much higher cost, but 40% means just so more than only 25%. There is also Snowy, that now can just buff Will from the start, and also with his passive. This attack here, Northern, wrong Snowy. Circulating Hail buffs STR, Endurance, Agility, and Will. This is usually enough, and there is Halloween Princess White Rose that are more reliable resources, but maybe if you need extra help, she can help with this. Then the last attack is called Dark Wash Plus. For 10 BP you get triple S with 66 modifier. This is pretty high for 10 BP cost, but not just that. We also get a new thing called Buff Break. We got this with bosses. Bosses can remove our buffs now. We now can remove their buffs because Dark Wash is here. This attack comes from the future. It was just recently released in JP to deal with some different content. Now we'll be able to do like tower much easier because enemies that buff agility, we just go there and remove it. Something needs to be said about Dark Wash. It needs her intelligence and agility to have a high accuracy. She doesn't have the best volleys for a mage, but usually it will just work. But Dark Wash is an amplify over an attack that is also found in two other styles. Those two other styles are Rock S style. This comes from Tower, is a permanent event, and this S limited version of Rouge that sometimes comes back into the game. So I will just compare how much you can also do that with other characters. They will be able to amplify this too. Let's say Global X Rock. She has very similar status, even a little inferior to Barbara, and she still hits most of the enemies normally. Sometimes she misses the first hit of Psycho Bone, very hard challenges, but she can also use it if you amplify. She starts with 12, meaning that she will even be able to use it on similar levels compared to Barbara. That is 1 on turn 1 and again on turn 4. Rouge cannot use as much often, but it is also a good idea if you are thinking about skipping Barbara. You will be able to amplify from this as limited style. If you have it, nice. Now you can do it with a character that has insane values for intelligence and agility. He will not miss. He's the best one with accuracy. But it just started with Barbara, and she's not the best user of this. It's strange, like I said, but the damage is good enough. So if you look well, there's 3 spells here. She is essentially just a mage. With focus on agility and intelligence, you have accuracy for your spells. But why does she have 93% STR? Because she can inherit physical attacks from her best styles. Which attacks are important now? From this version of her, you can get Acupuncture Plus. But Acupuncture Plus debuffs STR by 30%. This is an amazing attack. The only problem is that you don't have much dexterity with this version of Barbara. Another character that has also access to this is Mariah by inheritance. And Mariah, let's check her dexterity. It's even higher, but not by much. So sometimes Mariah misses Acupuncture Plus. She needs to be buffed before. So if you fail in a boss fight, it may just be your downfall. Another thing that you can inherit in the future is this attack called Wrecking that will become Wrecking Plus. So maybe you can start the fight doing low damage and then nuke with Dark Wash if your boss has a buff going and then it becomes dangerous. Or you can just keep using Dark Wash every time that you have VP, but then she will just use normal attacks, and that normal attack does not buff her intelligence like other mages since she's a spear user, and we will sometimes even miss. So I don't know, she's not exactly the best user for Dark Wash. Like we compared, Rock has a 0 BP spell and she can just keep using that instead of using normal attacks. It will do much more damage and has much more meaning. The last thing that she can do is Flamenco Muse. This is an 11 VP spell that gives morale up to all targets that lasts for 2 turns. So this can be used to increase the nuke potential of your party. We can use this with Forneus and Rapina and counter strategies or turn 1 nukes. We have been using this with this Platinum style. But what does it change when you want to use Flamenco Muse with a premium version? Just this offensive union 2. This guarantees that everyone gets 10% more by this. But does that really matter? 10% more will make you nuke? I don't know. You can get as much as 20% more if close quarters triggers. So 70% increase to everyone in 37% of the time. Maybe this will just give you that small amount that you needed. But like I said, her older style, this one had a chance to buff by 20% too, 37% only, and she needed turn 2 for Flamenco Dancer. So if you were using Flamenco Dancer on an overdrive, this doesn't change much, but just stabilizes Barbara for support. I like this Barbara. She will also receive a spear with shadow element, meaning that she will be able to do as much as damage as she can in max potential. But I don't know, she doesn't have a sheep BP attack. Like, she could have used a 0 BP spell to help out between waiting for another Dark Wash plus, but sadly she doesn't have that. She is important for those that cannot use a buff break, but there will be other options and I will be explaining with the next character. And the last character we need to talk is Vampire Lady. There are 6 different styles of Vampire Lady in the game, and only this one is Platinum in the first one. So we got a Halloween version, a summer version, a Lunar New Year version, and now the Global X. So she celebrates a lot of holidays. We have higher STR with the current, lower endurance, but higher will. Another character that focuses on will. Her dexterity is pretty bad. I don't understand why they're giving such a low values for dexterity, since the endurance is pretty bad already. Agility is 95, so she tries to evade. Her intelligence is the worst one so far, and she could have used this. And love and charisma are pretty high. That's probably the reason why she got a cut in some older status. Because she can heal, I understand what they did here. So we have double arrows for agility and bonus for STR, but only arrow for will. You will need to rely on other styles to increase your STR. With that said, the first passive of her is called Fantasia, and when being attacked by direct or indirect attacks, she can evade the attack by 37% chance. She will evade even the status elements part. So this is the same thing that you can find on the latest version of Acelus, and also Tukwai, another character, has the same passive. The second one is called Return to Life. On the end of a turn, if she is dead, she will revive with around 800 HP. This is something that we found before with Ray. Ray made much more sense because Ray can inflict status elements, and sometimes you want that to happen. This is called life cycle, see, but she will only recover with around 150, while Vampire Lady will revive with much more. But why do you need this with a character like this? More into that later. She does have Fire Up 6, is the only one with this 30% increase in damage at all times. Okay, so first skill is called Strike Slash. This is slash and blunt, very cheap, 8 modifier only, and has a chance to stun. But look, this intelligence. Low chance to stun with this intelligence is one of the worst chances in the game. By having this with 0, it just helps her with some of her AoE or single target cycles. We'll talk more about that later. The first attack is called Blood Moon Totality. This is a 9 BP attack that hits 3 times. For 9 BP 3 times, it's just like a very low power triple S or closer to high power double S. But it's double element, so slash and hit. And every time that she hits, she heals herself and someone else random. It can even be herself twice. So 6 small healings coming here. 3 is guaranteed to be on her, and 3 can be on anyone, including her. Why? Just why? I don't understand the reasoning behind this. There's no way to guarantee who gets healed. In 9 BP to have such a small heal chance here to save someone from dying, it doesn't justify. She's not exactly a very good damage dealer, so the damage is not so powerful and the healing is not as good. For 10 BP we have Steel Blade Light, an attack that's already triple S power, has double elements, it's reliable and use it even to this day against bosses. So I don't know. Then we have Rising Nova Plus for 90 BP as well. This attack is double element slash and heat, double S power, and we don't know the modifier, it should be pretty close to triple S, and it also removes all buffs. Buff break. Nice, Rising Nova, right? But just like with Barbara, Rising Nova can be found in other characters. You can find it here. There are 2 versions of Nautilus. The first one, that is the White Day one, and the Halloween one can get Rising Nova. And Welfare Rick. Rick will get a premium style this month for sure, and he can use this as well, and he's a much better character than our version of Vampire Lady. And now, if you do have Nautilus with that inheritance that comes from either this S style or this under SS1, I have to tell you, with Mystic Nautilus, she is the best Rising Nova attacker. She beats Vampire Lady by far, because she has a chance to buff all of her status and also get more BP. She also has Fantasia, so she does exactly the same but better. Much better attack, much better skills, much better cycle to keep using Rising Nova. So right now, just amplify Rising Nova if you have Nautilus. It's much better than just going for Vampire Lady. But if you don't have any way to get Rising Nova for Nautilus, you can still wait for Rick, because his banner will offer much value. So, the attack is good, but it just spoils everyone, so that you can use this with a much better constructed character. So I don't know what they did with Vampire Lady. Okay, I talked about a single target setup and an AoE setup. A single target setup can be either Blood Moon Totality or Rising Nova Plus, and she can keep cycling. I don't know why they didn't even give her maybe an STR buff. It will be much better. There are characters like Annie that can buff STR with Gleaming Slash. And then you can just get Mirage Blade Plus if you have this attack, and then you can use it on full cycle, whatever you want. But do you need this? We have much better slash damage dealers than this version of Vampire Lady, and she would not affect the meta as she is. Sadly, you can look at all of her other styles and you will not find much to inherit from. The other thing that you can is just Tornado Blade Plus if you miss it out on Yudun, but he's a much better damage dealer when using this attack. So sadly, this version of Vampire Lady will be receiving an S grade for me, and will not matter in the long run in the game. Sadly, that is the truth. With that said, let's return to the banner image, and let me tell you, this banner is strange. Could have been much better. We had much better Global X banners in the past, especially like Leon and Emperor and Empress. Here I can see Azami being useful for many people, for farming, for boss fights. Barbara can also be used, but both Barbara and Vampire Lady main roles can be used by different characters that can be available for most. If you're only summoning for Azami, this is dangerous. I wanted to summon for her, but I don't know if I want to pay the price. So go look for your gems. Do you have other ways to use the buff break attacks? This can be useful in the future. Right now can be used to claim Matcha's Tower. If you really need this, if you feel like you need at least one, go look if you have at least Rick. Rick has access to Rising Nova. You will not be needing this every time, so just for some specific boss challenges. So most people can just skip. If you want Azami, she's amazing. But if you don't need Vampire Lady and you don't need Barbara, this decreases the banner value by a lot. And I must say that even right now, Lycid and Maka banner offers more value to most people. So I'll be giving this banner a bronze award. It's not so good. Sadly, I wish it more from this, but it is what it is. Thanks so much for watching this video. What are your opinions? This is just mine. Listen here on the comment section. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.